Tell, yeah. Maccabees in Israel, yeah. When the Greeks tried to sell, all to yeah. The war went on and on and on until the mighty Greeks were gone, yeah. Just in the air sometimes, saying hey, oh, spin the dreidel. Just wanna celebrate for all 8 nights, singing hey, oh, light the candle. We say Alhamdulillah, oh yeah, for all 8 nights. Then we play dreidel by the candlelight. And I told you once, now I told you twice, about the miracle of the candlelight. They took the field. Their rivals thought, are they for real? Those Maccabees, they never yield. They charged ahead with sword and shield. Yeah, the war went on and on and on until the mighty Greeks were gone. Yeah, up in my lockers in the air sometimes, saying hey, oh, spin the dreidel. Just wanna celebrate for all 8 nights, singing hey, light the candle. We say ma'otur, oh yeah, for all 8 nights. Then we play dreidel by the candlelight. And I told you once, now I told you twice, about the miracle of the candlelight. And the great menorah, for 8 days it kept on burning. What a celebration, a great return to Torah learning. Cause I can feel it, and Nes Gadol, Nes Gadol, Nes Gadol Hayasham, Nes Gadol Hayasham, Nes Gadol Hayasham, Up in my lockers in the air sometimes, saying hey, oh, spin the dreidel. Just wanna celebrate for all 8 nights, singing hey, oh, light the candle. We say ma'otur, oh yeah, for all 8 nights. Then we play dreidel by the candlelight. And I told you once, now I told you twice, about the miracle of the candlelight.
Okay, Rabbi Siegel, I think we're ready to begin. And Janet,
Happy
nice to
Hanukkah,
see you.
everyone. Hi, it's good to see you.
It's good to
Happy
be with
Hanukkah.
everybody. Chagurim Sameach. Glad to welcome you to our Lights of Anshe Emet's Lights of Love Hanukkah celebration. I hope that you enjoy this evening, and I hope you take advantage of all of the Hanukkah activities that Anshe Emet is providing over the 8 days of Hanukkah, especially the Maccabees concert, the Miracle and Maccabees concert on Sunday night. Look at our website, and you'll see all of the events coming up. Looking forward to sharing all of Hanukkah with you as well. I want to just mention a lesson I once learned from one of my great teachers, Rabbi David Hartman, who taught that the greatest miracle is on the first night. Because on that night, the Maccabees had no idea what the future held for them. It was a time of terrible uncertainty. All they knew is what they had in their hands that night, enough for one night of lighting the menorah. But they lit it anyway. They had the faith and the courage and the will to face whatever would come. I think about our own time, and I think about the notion that this is a time of uncertainty as well. And what do at this dark time of the year? We light one candle. in the hopes that there'll be a second and a third, and by the last night of Chanukah, our Chanukiot are burning bright. And that is a lesson the Jewish people has taught the world again and again. Despite whatever faces us, let's have the faith to create a little bit more light in this world and build on that light, all of us together, so that next Hanukkah will be brighter and better, and God willing, healthier as well. Chagurim Sameach, and it's my pleasure to call on Max Siegel-Handelman for a story.
Chag Sameach. So once there was a king, and the king liked to go about town in disguise to see what his people were up to. And one night in the middle of December, he walked through the Jewish quarter of town. And he walked past beautiful houses and he saw candles burning in the windows. And he walked on until he came to the edge of town. And there at the edge of town off a muddy street, he saw a little shack. And he looked at that little shack and he thought, I'm sure there won't be any joy in this little shack. But he went up and he knocked on the door. And the door was immediately opened by a woman, Hannah. Now, the people called her Hannah the joyful because even though life had been so tough for Hannah, she was always joyful. She said, please come in to the stranger. And the king came in and he saw that indeed her home was very humble. She had a Chanukiah on the table. It was set up with one candle and there was a very simple meal. And she said, please stay with me. And so he did. He sat down and they started talking. She lit the candles and she sang beautiful songs with joy in her face. And the king could not believe it. He said, how do you earn your living? Oh, I'm a cobbler. I go through the town and I fix people's shoes. You couldn't do that. What would happen? What if there weren't shoes to fix? Oh, I go by the psalm, blessed is God every day, day by day. And the king couldn't believe it. He took his leave. He went back to the castle and he thought about Hannah and her faith and her joy, and he decided to test her. And so he sent out a proclamation. No one is allowed to fix shoes anymore without a permit. He thought about Hannah all that next day, and then he went to her house and he came and to the edge of town, and there she was. She knocked on the door, she opened the door and welcomed him in. Please join my simple meal. She lit 2 candles in her Chanukiah and she sang songs of joy. The king could not believe how joyful she was. He said, I heard about the proclamation from the king. What did you do today? How did you earn money for this food? Oh, well, I couldn't fix shoes, but I found a pot in the market. And then someone said they needed water. So I ran to the spring and I filled up water and I brought it to their house. And that's how I earned my money for the day. Well, the king took his leave and the next day he made a proclamation, no drawing water is allowed. He thought about Hannah and how he was testing her faith. Surely now she would not be so joyful. He went back the next day to her house, knocked on the door. She welcomed him in to her meager meal and said, please come and join me. They talked through the night. She lit 3 candles. She sang songs. The king could not believe her joy. What did you do today? If you couldn't draw water, I heard about the king's proclamation. Oh, I went with some wood collectors into the forest and I collected all the kindling that I could carry and I sold it in the marketplace and I had enough for this meal. It's fine, but it's so hard. What will happen tomorrow? Oh, you know, blessed is God day by day. Well, the king could not believe it. He needed to test her and see if this joy was real. And so he issued a proclamation that all of the wood collectors must go into the king's guard and serve for a week without pay. All they would get is some armor and a shield and a sword made of steel. Well, the next day, Hannah was in the king's guard and she got a sword made of steel And that night she knew she wouldn't be paid, so she took it to the craftsman and she sold it to him. And he was kind enough to make for her a wooden sword that she could put in her sheath and no one would know the difference. Well, after a couple of days, the king went to Hannah's house. He thought for sure after days of not being paid, she would be not so joyful, but he knocked on the door and she welcomed him into a meager meal, and her Chanukah was filled with 8 candles. And there she was, joyful. And the king said, I don't understand. You've been in the king's guard. How are you so joyful? Well, I took the sword and I sold it and I had a wooden sword made. Now the king knew how he would test Hannah. The very next day, the last day of her guarding, he sent a captain to her, and the captain said, you must come, there is a prisoner and you must behead him. Hannah didn't know what to do. She had never hurt anyone in her life. And if the king saw that her sword had been turned into wood, what would happen to her? Hannah needed to think quickly. She went to the town square where the prisoner was, and she said, people, this is Kislev. It is Chanukah. It is a time of miracles. I have never hurt anyone in my life. If this prisoner is guilty, then I indeed will behead him. But if he is innocent, then may my sword turn to wood. And she pulled her sword from its sheath. And indeed, the people were amazed. It was wood. The prisoner was innocent, and Hannah was saved. That night, the king went to Hannah's house for a last time in his full king's garb. And he said, Hannah, you amaze me, your faith and your joy. I want you to work with me and be my advisor forever. And so Hannah, the joyful, joined the king's advisors. And from that day on, the wars, they ceased and peace came to the town because Hannah never lost a bit of her faith. Happy Chanukah.
Hello. Oops, I just unmuted it. Okay.
Thanks for an amazing story, Max. It was great. And I just want to say that one of the great pleasures for me as a rabbi is to have the opportunity to work with our amazing staff at Anshe Emet. It is a joy to be part of a group of people so committed to serving our community in every possible way. So from our maintenance staff to all of our administrators to our leadership, I just want to say thank you and tell you just how much light and joy you bring to all that we do at Anshe Emet. And now, let's light the Chanukiot. And let's call on Rabbi David Russo and Chazan Liz Berkey to lead us.
It is so nice to see every one of you. Thank you so much, Rabbi Siegel. I'm going to invite you all to feel free to grab your Chanukiah and grab your candles. One of the slogans that we have been saying for the last few weeks getting ready for Chanukah is from a modern Israeli folk song. The song is Banu Choshech Legaresh. We've come to expel the darkness. And in that song, we say, Kol echad hu or katan. While each of us might just be one small candle, kulanu oreitan. When we're all together, we're one really strong light all together. So I know how much we all wish that we could be physically together, and yet we're still here. And we're able to be together in this way. And we're so excited to be here with you. So let's see a lot of candles. Let us light up this city at our darkest time. We are going to spread some brightness. We'll pass it on to Chazan Berkey as you can light candles with us.
I hope you will all sing together with me. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kitshanu b'mitzvotav, v'tzivanu lehadlik ner shel Chanukah. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, she'asa nisim lavoteinu, bayamim hahem, ba'azman hazeh. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, she'hechianu, v'kiyamanu, v'higianu, lazman hazeh. Join me for Maoz Tzur. Maoz Tzur Yeshuati, Lechana el Shabeach, Tikon Beit Tefilati, V'sham Toda Mizabeach, Leitachin Matbeach, Mitzaham Nameach, Azegmor B'shir Mizmor, Chanukah HaMizbeach, Azegmor B'shir Mizmor, Chanukah HaMizbeach.
Thank you, David and Liz. It was beautiful. We have the pleasure of having a wonderful contingent from the Joseph and Belle Braun Religious School who are going to share some ideas with us. And Rabbi George Haken Gould is going to introduce them.
Chag Sameach, everyone. It's so good to see you, to see all of your smiling faces and your warm homes. I miss being together, and it's in person, and it's so good to be together in this way. As Rabbi Siegel said, we have a whole slew of students from our Joseph and Belle Braun Religious School, some of our youngest members of Anshe Emet, who tonight are going to bring us some light with their words. Each of them has prepared something to say about our most important Jewish values, about this night of lights of love. And we're going to begin with our first light of love. I'd love to call on my neighbor, Hazel Ellsberg.
Hi, my name is Hazel Ellsberg, and I am in the 5th grade at Coonley Elementary. Our light of love is the value of community, or kahila. Anshe Emet is a place for learning and pursuing Torah, worshiping God, sacralizing relationships, healing the sick, and feeding the poor. It is a place where we know the presence of God among us and honor each other as made in God's image. B'Tselem Elohim.
Yay. Yishar Kochach. Thank you, Hazel. For our second light of love, I'll call on Asher and Gabriel Landler.
Hi, my name is Asher. And my name is Gabriel. And we are in the 5th grade at Hawthorne Scholastic Academy. Our light of love is the value of justice, otherwise known as tzedakah. We proudly point out that tzedakah means justice, not charity. But why does that matter? Charity is given out of the kindness of our hearts when we feel moved to do so. Tzedakah is considered mandatory under Jewish law. We're supposed to give it whether we feel like it or not. It is not ensuring fair procedures in a courtroom. We shouldn't just do so when we're feeling particularly generous, but all the time.
Because otherwise the system doesn't work. In Jewish thinking, society simply doesn't work when we neglect those in need.
Thank you, Gabriel and Asher. I'd like to call for our third light of love on Zach Deutsch.
Hi, my name is Zach Deutsch, and I'm in the 8th grade at Blaine School. Our light of love is the value of compassion and chesed. Translated as compassion, chesed isn't just an emotion. It's just an action we take to help those who are physically or emotionally in need. And it generally involves more than simply writing a check or texting. Often about showing up for people when they're suffering and offering what chaplains refer to as the ministry of presence. When others are at their most vulnerable, when they're sick, in mourning, or otherwise struggling, Judaism doesn't tell us awkwardly avoid them because they make you uncomfortable and maybe just send them an email. We're told show up for them and do whatever you can do to make them feel loved.
Thank you, Zach. For our fourth light of love, I call on Lola Eig.
Hi, my name is Lola Eig, and I am in the 6th grade at Nettlehorse School. Our light of love is the value of loving kindness or gemilut hasadim. Loving kindness can be shown by providing haknasat or kim, hospitality, bikkur kolim, visiting the sick, assistance for people in need of general help, and providing financial assistance for those in need.
Thank you, Lola. For our fifth light of love, I'm going to call on Harper Lang.
Hi, my name is Harper Lang, and I'm in the 7th grade at Nettlehorse School. Our light of love is the value of gratitude, hakarat hatov. Jewish prayers steeped in gratitude. Birkat hashachar, the dawn blessing said at the start of our morning prayers each day. Warm thanksgiving for life itself, for the human body, the physical world, land to stand on, and eyes to see with. The first words we say each morning, Modeh ani, I thank you, means that we begin each day by giving thanks.
Thank you, Harper. For our sixth light of love, I call on Sam Corkin.
Hi, my name is Sam Corkin. I am at the 6th grade at Coonley. Our light of love is value of caring for the stranger, ahavat hagar. Like tikkun olam, we take for granted that loving the stranger is a core Jewish value, but its origins are quite radical. In the Torah, God repeatedly tells the Israelites to care for the stranger, for you are strangers to the land of Egypt. But God seems to be getting way ahead of God's self, addressing a problem the Israelites did not face. The Israelites were a powerless group of former slaves under constant attack from rival peoples. They were the strangers of the ancient world. But the Torah seems to anticipate a time when the Israelites would be well established enough to have a say in how the strangers among them would be treated. And again, it tells us, no matter how powerful or secure you may one day become, your fundamental moral orientation must always be in the direction of the outsider. For in some essential and eternal way, the plight of the stranger was and always will be your own.
Thank you, Sam. For our seventh light of love, I call on Lucy Arnold.
Hello, my name is Lucy Arnold, and I'm in the 7th grade at Hawthorne Scholastic Academy. Our light of
Go.
Hi, my name is Lucy Arnold, and I'm in the 7th grade at Hawthorne Scholastic Academy. Our light of love is value of kindness, or lev tov. Lev tov means a good heart in Hebrew. It is our way of expressing a basic core value of Jewish life. Our tradition demands that we look outward to provide for the needs of the community and for the needs of all of those who need help in the world.
Thank you, Lucy. For our eighth light of love, we'll turn to Jessie Becker.
Hi, my name is Jessie Becker, and I am in the 6th grade at LaSalle 2 School. Our light of love is value of self-care, diga admi. Jewish wisdom beckons us to take care of ourselves. At the heart of the Torah is the Holiness Code, which tells us to love your neighbor as yourself. These 5 simple words speak volumes about self-care. They teach us that we must first learn to love and care for ourselves before we can hope to love and care for others. And since loving and caring for others is a major Jewish value, it is imperative that we take care of ourselves.
Thank you, Jessie, and thank you to all of our students and parents who support the Joseph and Belle Braun Religious School. Again, a reminder that we've got that upcoming amazing concert for Chanukah on Sunday, and we hope that you join us for that. I'd now like to call on our Chazanim, Liz Berkey and Alberto Mizrahi, and our ritual director, Naomi Weisweil, to lead us in some Hanukkah songs.
Okay.
Sounds like a good deal. What are we going to do?
Do we have, Amy, the song sheet to put up?
Mimi Beth has it, I believe.
Great. First one you should know, Sivivon, but I'm going to do a second verse that is actually how it is sung in Israel. So here we go. I will start because hopefully many of you know these words already. Sivivon sof sof sof, Chanukah hu chatov, Chanukah hu chatov, Sivivon sof sof sof, Hasimcha hulam, Nes gadol haya sham, Nes gadol haya sham, Hasimcha hulam, Sivivon sof sof sof, Chanukah hu chatov, Chanukah hu chatov, Sivivon sof sof sof. Here's the different part. Sov na sov ko v'cho, Nes gadol haya po, Nes gadol haya po, Sov na ko v'cho, Sivivon sof sof sof, Chanukah hu chatov, Chanukah hu chatov, Sivivon sof sof sof. Hope you all sang along.
I was singing hard over here, Liz.
Awesome. Naomi is up next.
Me'ach Chanukah, Chanukat Mikdashenu, V'gil v'simcha Mimaleim et libeinu, Laila v'yom Sivonenu Yisov, Tufganiyot nochal bamlaro, Hahiru, Hadliku, Nerot Chanukah Rahavim, Al Hanisim ve'al Haniflaot Asher Cholelu HaMakkabim, Al Hanisim ve'al Haniflaot Asher Cholelu HaMakkabim. O Chanukah, come light the menorah. Let's have a party, we'll all dance the hora. Gather round the table, we'll give you a treat. Sivivon to play with and latkes to eat. And while we are playing, the candles are burning low. One for each night they shed a sweet light to remind us of days long ago. One for each night they shed a sweet light to remind us of days long ago.
Hi there. So I'm a Sephardi, so I said the cantor is a Greek, which on Hanukkah is not such a great thing to say, after all. But I overcame my Greekness, and I thought we'd just do a little bit of Sephardic music, if that's okay with you. And you probably know the whatever it's called, the in between, the refrain. Okay, so go on. Chanukah linda está aquí, ocho candelas para mí. Chanukah linda está aquí, ocho candelas para mí. Important part. Oh, una candelica, dos candelicas, tres candelicas, cuatro candelicas, cinco candelicas, seis candelicas, siete candelicas, ocho candelas para mí. So that was 8 candles are for me, and why is this moving so much? Okay, and we'll go to this last verse. Ay vey, los pastelicos vo comer. I've known this particular words since I was about 4 years old. It says those sweet, like donuts I want to eat. Here we go. Los pastelicos vo comer con almendricas y la miel, with almonds and honey. Los pastelicos vo comer con almendricas y la miel. Oh, Una candelica, dos candelicas, tres candelicas, cuatro candelicas, cinco candelicas, seis candelicas, siete candelicas, ocho candelas para mí. Cha, cha, cha. A little Sephardic. Did we want to hear anything else, or are we done?
I want to thank everybody for coming out, and I know that I speak for pretty much everybody just when I say that how special it is to have a community where we can see each other and be together and feel your warmth, even if we can't be in the same room, and begin Hanukkah together. Thanks for coming out tonight.
Chag Sameach to everybody. Chag Sameach. Safety and happiness.
Chagurim Sameach, everyone.
Chagurim Sameach, everyone. Thank you for joining us.
Chag Sameach.
Chag Sameach.
Chag Sameach.
Chag Sameach.
Chag
Chag Sameach.
Chag
Sameach.
Everybody.
Thank you.
To the spotlight, Mimi.
We can learn.
All right, good night, everybody.
Thank you.
I don't want to.
Thank you, Dave and Gat, Dave and Asher. Thank you, Sam.
Thank you guys. Good job, everybody.
Hi, Wendy.
Asher, go ahead. Keep singing there, Alberto. Just keep singing.
A little Beethoven stuff.
So between my text today and our discussion last night, you know I want to
Wow! One and all. All right. Laila Tov, everybody. It's been a long
Laila Tov.
Laila Tov, Alberto.
Laila Tov.
Tov. Neil, nice to see you.
Laila Tov.
Mimi.
Do we have more?
Goldbergs.
Yay!
Mimi, why are we still in spotlight? So nice to see everybody.
Laila Tov.
Bye, Larissa.
And say hi to Max.
Hi, Asher.
Look, it is.
Hi, Molly.
Get these people away.
Asher, it's okay. We can talk to all these people. They're my friends. Did you get fun of tonight?
I like your crew, Max.
Yeah, I got a lot of friends. Look at that.
Asher knows how to open and how to close. He's like, get everybody out of here. I need my time with Max already.
That's what I live for.
I like that your reference for Asher was his bris when he ran into you in the street 2 years ago and right now. Like a good,
I have 3 points of contact with Asher. And the bris one, he probably doesn't have the most
Doesn't
positive.
remember so much.
Mama, can we go back to Max?
We will not talk about your birthday.
You guys just need to spotlight me.
Remember? Jacob.
Everybody.
Yeah, Asher and Molly and Jeff.
I'm gonna send you a present.
You made me a present?
I want to see it.
If you send me a present, I'll send
Here.
you one back.
Asher and Jeff and Molly. Look,
Hi.
you have to
Like
go
that
get a
cameo.
lucky.
Yeah, right. Hi, here's me. Where did she go?
She went to get a lucky. Can you believe that? But then she's gonna say hi. Come say hi.
That was my I forgot something. Oh,
What'd you
we
forget?
forgot Luckies. What did? Oh, we forgot Luckies. Luckies are for.
Yay! Wait, look at this cool thing. Let's see, does it work? You can't really see it.
Put it on Jacob's beard.
It doesn't work unless it's dark. Can you see it?
It's actually holding, Mama.
Oh, that's a cool light. Oh, there we go. Look at that.
What is? Oh, it's a
That's our new Hanukkah toy.
Can you also show it at the
Wow,
you have every kind of dreidel officially. Show it at the computer so I can see.
Yeah. Okay, wait, I'm gonna do a different one. It's got different ones.
I love that little voice.
What is it? It's Lucky's. Can you see it? The dreidel is better. Back to that. Mimi, hi, Josh. Look at that. There we go.
Hi, Max.
Hi.
Josh. Josh, say hi to my friend Asher. Asher, say hi to my friend Josh.
Say hi, Asher.
Hi, Josh.
Say hi.
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 Thanks, baby.
Ta-da.
Oh, look at you. Oh my goodness.
Oh, did you have a yummy dinner?
Yeah. Do you want to tell Alex what we have for dinner?
We
I
got
have
what we have
Lucky's.
for dinner.
You had
Max, we
dinner?
don't need programs. We just need Asher. Look at everybody just wants to play with Asher. Happy
Yeah.
Christmas, everybody.
Good night.
Bye. Good
Bye,
night.
Samia.